Hey, welcome back. Glad you're here for this one. Before we get into it, let me ask you something. Have you ever watched someone set up the perfect comeback, walk into the room, deliver it with total confidence, and then watch the room go completely silent for all the wrong reasons? That's basically what happened to the President of the United States this past weekend. And the fallout says a lot more about where American politics is right now than it does about one bad social media post. So, on Saturday, June 27th, Donald Trump posted a side-by-side image on Truth Social. No caption, which is unusual for him. Normally, he can't resist adding a line. On the left, a young Trump in a military uniform labeled D-Trump 20. On the right, a young Barack Obama in a wide-brimmed hat with a cigarette in his mouth labeled BH Obama 18. The implication was obvious without a single word attached to it. Disciplined young soldier versus rebellious kid smoking on a college campus. It was supposed to read as a flex. Within hours, it had turned into the opposite. Here's the first problem, and it's a factual one, not a matter of opinion. That photo of Trump isn't from when he was 20. It's his graduation portrait from the New York Military Academy's 1964 yearbook, taken when he was 17. So, the age on the label was wrong by 2 to 3 years, and the uniform itself became its own story, because Trump has never served in the military. He received 5 draft deferments during Vietnam, 4 for college enrollment, and 1, famously, for bone spurs in his heel. Posting a photo in a military uniform when you never actually served is the kind of detail the internet does not let go of. Trump's own niece, Mary Trump, put it plainly online. She wrote that it was a photo of Donald as a teenager in high school, adding that he really should know that. That's family, correcting the record on a president's own post. Now, here's the long short of it. The comparison was meant to make Trump look composed and Obama look aimless. Instead, viewers pointed out that Obama's photo, cigarette and all, radiated an effortless confidence Trump's stiff-posed uniform shot simply didn't have. One widely shared post described it as Obama aura-mogging him. Internet slang for one person's presence completely overshadowing the others, without even trying. It didn't stop at the photo. Once people realized Trump was inviting a decade-by-decade comparison, they took him up on it, and not gently. At 46, side by side, Obama was campaigning to become the first black president of the United States. Trump, at the same age, was photographed socializing with his friend Jeffrey Epstein, later convicted of sex offenses. At 47, more of the same pairing circulated. Obama shaking hands with voters on the campaign trail, Trump standing beside Epstein again. Even Pete Souza, Obama's former chief White House photographer, joined in with his own comparison, captioned simply, "Swipe if you dare." At 53, the split got starker still. Obama in the White House with his family, having just been elected president. Trump, according to the same wave of posts, still associating with Epstein. None of these comparisons required embellishment. They just used the math Trump's own post invited and let the photos make the case. This is the part worth sitting with for a second, because it's not really about one bad post. It's about what happens when a sitting president opens a comparison he can't control the terms of. And the reason this specific comparison landed the way it did traces back to something Obama said just days earlier, almost as if he'd anticipated it. On the All the Smoke podcast, Obama was asked directly about Trump's habit of bringing him up. His answer was dry, not angry. He said that when he was in office, he genuinely didn't have time to track what a predecessor was doing, because the job itself demanded full attention every single day. Then he added the line that's been quoted everywhere since. He said he essentially has a room in Trump's head, a suite even. That single sentence reframed the entire photo post before it even happened. Trump posted it days later, no caption, and a lot of people read it as exactly the kind of reaction Obama had just described. Proof of the point, delivered by the subject himself. And this pattern isn't a one-off. According to reporting from CNN, cited in coverage of this story, Trump has referenced Obama by name an average of nearly 2 times a day since leaving office the first time. That's not a rhetorical flourish. That's a measurable habit, tracked over years. Meanwhile, a CNN and SSRS poll from June found 57% of Americans hold a favorable view of Obama, compared to 34% for Trump. So, the numbers don't really support the comparison Trump was trying to draw in the first place. Now, The reason this matters beyond a viral moment is what happened just days later when a reporter asked Trump a much more grounded question. Not about Obama, about money. The topic was the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool, the long stretch of water between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument. Back in April, Trump had announced a resurfacing project, estimated at somewhere between $1.5 and $1.8 million, expected to take about a week. By late June, federal contract records showed the actual cost had climbed past $16 million, with no bid contracts awarded to at least 2 separate companies, and the pool still developing algae blooms and peeling paint after the work was supposedly finished. When a CBS reporter pressed him on that gap between the promise and the price tag, Trump didn't answer the question. Instead, he pivoted immediately. He responded, "Barack Hussein Obama, have you ever heard of him?" He went on to claim that Obama and Biden together had spent well over $100 million on the same pool and never even got it working. Here's where the numbers actually breathe, because they matter. Factcheck.org and multiple other outlets that reviewed federal contracting records found the real figures tell a different story. The Obama-era reconstruction, completed in 2012, cost approximately $35 million, not the way over $100 million Trump claimed. And there's no record of any major reflecting pool project during the Biden administration at all. So the number Trump used to deflect the question about his own cost overrun wasn't just rounded up. It was significantly inflated, and it credited a project to Biden that doesn't appear to exist. That's the actual story here, underneath the viral photo and the meme comparisons. A pattern where questions about current spending, current contracts, and current accountability get redirected toward a predecessor who left office years ago, using numbers that don't hold up under review. And it's worth noting, Trump isn't the only one landing punches in this exchange. Just recently, President Biden addressed a Democratic Party gala in Maryland and used his own speech to go after Trump directly. The ballroom addition, the East Wing demolition, the arch, and yes, the reflecting pool. His line on it was blunt: "What a loser." Whether or not you find that kind of exchange productive, it tells you something about where American political discourse has settled in the middle of 2026. Official spending questions answered with decade-old grudges, and rebuttals delivered less through policy detail and more through one-liners designed to travel on social media. So, what actually changes because of all this? Probably not much in the short term. The reflecting pool will eventually get finished at whatever the final number turns out to be. The photo will fade from timelines within a week, replaced by the next one. But the pattern underneath it is worth watching because it's not going away. A White House that frequently answers spending and accountability questions by redirecting toward the previous administration, and a public conversation that rewards the redirection with more attention than the original question ever got. That's the trade actually happening here, quietly, underneath every viral post. And it's fair to ask which side of that trade the country is actually winning. That's it for this one. If you found this useful, subscribe. There's more of this coming. I'll see you in the next one.